In this video, we'll see how to connect to EC2 instance on Windows using MobaXterm. If you don't know, MobaXterm is a free X server and a SSH client, and using this, we can remotely connect to a virtual machine that is created using Amazon Web Services. So for that, first you have to create an AWS account, and then you can using the free tier, and then you can launch the instance. I'll be teaching you how you can launch the instance, and using that instance we can create a GitHub account. First, launch the instance in the instances page, and you can write some name. I'll be writing my first AWS app, and then I'll be selecting a Ubuntu machine. Since it is free tier, we have few free tier stuff. You can use that. So, and you have to create a key pair. I'll be using .pem, and if you use putty, you can use .ppk. Enter a key pair name, which is, you can use any name. I'll be using key AWS, and then create a key pair. And store it in your folders. Keep it safe because this is really important. And then, yeah, launch the instance. It might take some time. Okay, since it is okay now, let's refresh it. That might work. Oh yeah. So the instance is running. Click on the instance ID. You will be given with some dialog box. Before that, if you haven't downloaded, let's download MobaXterm. So as I told you, it is a SSH client. For Windows, you can use Windows. If it is Mac, you can have a different terminal, right? For Windows, it is MobaXterm. So download it, Home Edition, and I have already downloaded. So I'll be opening my personal application. This is it. This is how you download. Now create a new session in case if you like for connecting. First of all, copy the public IP address and then click on the session SSH, and then for remote host, paste the IP address and then the display name as Ubuntu because we are using a Ubuntu machine. And then click on advanced settings, check the private key, and then use the newly created key and click on OK. So this will click on accept dialog box. This will create a session, a virtual session. Yeah. So, if to check if it is working or not, let's create a file using touch command, touch test file s.sh. And okay, there is an option which is AWS CLI, which is the command line version. So click on connect, and it might take some time to establish the connection. Oh yeah, so let's clear it. Click on ls. You can see the same file that I have created using MobaXterm, which means the connection is successfully established. Okay, now the amazing stuff starts. Since this is like AWS thing, we have to make sure AWS is downloaded. For that, check AWS configure, and AWS is not found. They have given the help like hint sudo apt install AWS CLI. So let's check the version, which version we are using. For that, open your command prompt, which is cmd, and type AWS ---- version. This will give us the version. So copy the version, and let's go to MobaXterm. So let's type sudo snap install AWS CLI version, and let's paste the version name. We got the error. Acha, we have to use the classic. Click the classic. Okay. So let's use classic. I think this should work. These are some snap stuff we have to do. Okay, so it's involved, it's correctly installed. And now let's create a access key pair. So for that, go to security credentials in your page account. On the top right corner, you'll be having a security credential. And click on that. You'll be taken to an IOM console. So this will provide a list of all the security credentials. And you can see a access key column. So click on create and then you will be having this page. Then download it. In case you can, copy and note it in a notepad instead of CSV. So yeah, that's it. Now go to MobaXterm and type AWS configure and you will be given these things. I'll be blanking out because this is important. First, you'll be asking an access key, type it, and then your secret access key. So type your secret access key, and then your region, type your region, and then the output format for the data. I'll be typing JSON. So yeah, please don't share these keys to others because this is very important. In case you are noting it down in a notepad, make sure you encrypt the file or make sure no one sees your file. Okay. So let's understand how to connect GitHub to MobaXterm or any SSH client. Because ultimately, as a DevOps, you have to work with GitHub and connect to a virtual machine can be done using few easy steps. So first, we have to create a SSH key because I have tried using HTTPS that for GitHub clone, but that isn't working because GitHub deprecated the password authentication. So it's easy to create a SSH key and do SSH key based authentication. For that, type SSH key gen minus the RSA. That will generate your public private RSA key pair. So just enter everything for everything, and you can check your the SSH key like the fingerprint in the .ssh file. So let's go to the SSH file and then ls minus la. This will list out all the hidden file. So we have to open id rsa.pub using vim. I'll be blacking out my fingerprint because again it should not be shared with anyone. So just copy it and go to your GitHub page and just go to your settings and click on SSH again. Click on new SSH key and type your whatever you want. So my first AWS and just paste your key and that will create a new key. So you can use that for SSH authentication. Before moving forward, I request you to apply this command cd dot dot to go to previous directly. I made a mistake and made this AWS session in SSH folder. So yeah, now let's clone repository. For that there are two options. Either you can fork some other repository into your own account, or you can use your own repository. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to use other people's repository, then first you have to fork it and like this creates a distribution in your account because whatever you do doesn't affect the main account. Whatever you do affects your personal repo. If you want to contribute to the original account, first you have to make changes and then create a pull request and blah blah blah. That's not what you're going right now. First, we are just trying to clone. So just copy SSH key and paste it. And now it's all asking for authentication. And just make sure the fingerprint is same. So for that, just type um, SSH authentication GitHub docs. Then you will be getting a link. So connecting GitHub with SSH. Just there is a link called GitHub's public key fingerprint. This is what we have to check. So they have given few fingerprints here. Let's check if it is same. It is, yeah, it is same. So let's put yes and then just move forward. What it does is it will add our machine to the local host, to the known host. So now let's check if our username and email is associated or not. As you can see, if I type git configure username or git configure user email, nothing is displayed. So we have to set our username and email. So, so what you can do is, git configure minus minus global user dot name and mention your username and press on enter. And for email, it is git config minus minus global user dot email and mention your email. It should be associated with GitHub account. Okay. The username must be your GitHub username and the email must be the email which is associated with your GitHub account. And let's check if everything is right. So again, let's write the same command git config user dot email. It's a, yeah, as you can see, it's stored. So this is it. Now you have to just play around and see if everything is working fine. So just type ls and check what are the, so these are the sessions. So go to AWS. The option LA option will give the list of all the hidden files and the files. You can see a .git file which is used to track your files. Check if everything is correct. Other git remote minus v, yeah, the fetch and push origin, everything is correct. So let's do R in the folder, right? Ours is AWS session. So make sure you are in the folder because that is how you can, the changes will be tracked because a .git file, which is a hidden file, will be created upon cloning a repository. So let's create some new file and I'm using a Vim editor. So for that, press insert mode. You for that I press I and you will be in some insert mode and just write whatever you want. And click on escape and colon WQ exclamatory mark, and that is how you will exit and save the file. So git status. Git status will check, or it will check the status of the file. It is currently untracked. So you have to write git add dot in order to push the file into a staging area. So first we have to commit it. This is the command git commit minus m and write the message and clear. Now just let's check the status. And yeah, it's ready to be pushed. Git log will tell us the status, like what are the commits we did. And so these are the commits that I did. Let's exit, press Q. So let's push our changes into our repository. For that, git push minus u origin main, because my branch is main. It can be master for yours. So now git status, everything is up to date, and let's check if it is reflected. So let's refresh it and you can see the test file.sh. So this means it is successfully established and this virtual machine is connected to our GitHub account.